What's up, guys? Welcome back to Roofless Garage, and staying true to the name Roofless, we're outside once again, and today we're actually going to be putting some work on the good old Tofu van, which it's been sitting for a little while after some attempts to get some shops to do the work to put the 1JZ on it. I decided to finally just do it myself. And today we're going to be working on removing the front subframe, which in the van it's all welded. It's part of the same chassis. So all that's going to be gone, and we're going to adapt an S14 front chassis that is going to allow me to use pretty much any kind of part made for 240SX for the suspension, kind of like angle kits, shocks, coilovers. So pretty much everything 240 on the front, which I already have that on the back, and it's gonna be just easier in case I break something. I can just like replace with any other 240 part. So I'll start doing that, but at the same time we're gonna do a little bit of work on the Corvette, on the 2JZ Drift Corvette, and part of this is we're going to adapt an S14 subframe as well on the Corvette, because this is going to be pretty much the same situation. It's going to allow me to be able to use any kind of 240 part, angle kit, whatever, and instead of having to work with a front Corvette suspension, which is kind of a little bit outdated and way too complicated for what I want to do as far as angle and all that stuff. So let's just jump into it. Damn it. Nope. So I had previously sandblasted the whole engine bay and a lot of these parts to make it a lot easier to work on and clean. But it's been sitting for a little while, so there's a lot of surface rust. I think at this point I'm just gonna start cutting everything out of the way and just take everything apart once it's off the vehicle. So let's just start chopping. My favorite tool ever, saw. Alright, so the subframe is down, and pretty much this whole thing can come off. Nope. Oops. Okay, everything's good. So now we have room to measure and clean up all these leftover subframe pieces, and hopefully we'll be able to test fit the 1J in here in a little bit. small. Too much. 3 inches on each side. Now, one of the things that I just noticed is that our frame kind of like slopes down a little bit. So I'm probably gonna have to modify the subframe a little bit to compensate, because the 240 is very flat.
I think you're gonna have to be gentle, or you're gonna have to go very slow.
Alright, so we finished removing the subframe of the van, and now we're gonna move on a little bit back into the Corvette, because we need to get that one done as well. And one of the things I'm gonna do is gonna put a Z32 front subframe, because this is gonna allow me to use any kind of angle kit and suspension mods that are made for S chassis and C32 chassis. And also, this is a right-hand drive car. So I'm gonna use a right-hand drive steering and right-hand drive subframe to pretty much make it a lot easier for the Corvette to be turned to right-hand drive. So let's start removing stuff from it. Okay, so we got the subframe out of the C32, and we got the right-hand drive power steering rack. And we're just gonna give it a little bit of cleanup, make it look nice and pretty, probably powder coat it. And we're gonna go back to the Corvette now. Alright, so now we're back with the Corvette, and before getting into the whole front suspension modification, I want to know how the actual engine is going to fit in there. So in order to do that, we're going to use the 1JC engine from the Minivan, and I'm going to mock it in the engine bay of the Corvette. That way I'm going to be able to take some measurements, and based on that, we're going to be able to see how much I need to cut, how much I need to modify in order for everything to fit, and just get in there. Alright guys, well, the engine is in the engine bay, so we've pretty much managed to mock the engine in the right place, and it looks pretty good. One of the nice things is, like, even being an inline 6, being longer than a V8, you can still get the engine to be mounted behind the front axle, which is gonna help us have a very good weight distribution. It's definitely gonna help us be closer to the 50-50 weight distribution. But so far I love it. So far it looks like this engine belongs in here. It's like the right size. And one of the other nice things is that there's so much room right here. Once we replace the exhaust manifold, we're gonna probably try to put a top-mounted turbo. There's gonna be plenty of room down here for the steering column to go down into the steering rack. That's gonna allow us to have plenty of room to design our own steering rack. Everything's gonna be fine right there. And obviously there's so much room in here. There's plenty of room for new pedals, steering column, everything that we need to get in there is gonna fit perfectly. So pretty good. I mean, I'm super surprised on how nice everything fits. Pretty pumped. Looks like this engine definitely belongs in here, even though this is not the right engine that we're gonna use, but it's pretty much the same dimensions. So with this, we're gonna be able to start measuring for the engine mounts. And once you have this engine mounts, probably gonna start putting the actual 2JC engine in here. So that's gonna be it for today. So make sure, if you really like what I'm doing here, just give the videos a thumbs up. And don't forget, just go in the comments, let me know what you think. If you have any thoughts on what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, just go at it, let me know there. And if you wanna keep updated, click on the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next episode.